Remember the bombing? You remember where you were?
Yes, yes. But we were not so much affected in our place because you could just hear the shelling, the dog fight, what they call this, the dog fight up in the sky. And then they burned the ermita. Our area was quite safe, but in the other areas, they were burning.
Burning what?
They were hit by the bomb.
Because they were trying to take over the Philippines?
Huh?
Because they were trying to take over
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Philippines?
That's why it was occupied by the Japanese. That was a Japanese occupation.
So then after the bombing, then they left? After the bombing, then they left the Philippines?
After that, I don't know. But
After Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
mm, and then that was the time that they surrendered already.
And then they left?
Uh,
And then they left the Philippines?
that's why we were in nursing school. Because when the American forces came, they liberated the Americans interned in the UST. We were in the hospital.
So you remember Americans coming?
Yeah.
And the Japanese were still there?
I think they left already.
Oh.
When they left already when
So,
the American forces liberated the Philippines.
yeah, but the Americans, they liberated, but then they also occupied, right?
The what?
They also occupied?
What?
They occupied the Philippines.
Who?
The Americans.
Oh, just to help rebuild the Philippines.
To help rebuild?
Oh,
So they didn't occupy it like the Japanese.
no. The Japanese occupied the Philippines. In fact, what do you call that? They call the Death March. All those soldiers, they walked a long, how many kilometers? They just walked, being starved to the concentration camps.
Who?
In the Philippines.
The Filipinos were going to the concentration camps,
By the Japanese. They were captured by the Japanese.
and they were going to the concentration camps.
Yeah, they were concentrated. They were concentrated in one place. They were being starved. They had to walk kilometers to go to the concentration camp.
And
And the general, American general, is there. It's very thin already. They captured him.
oh, so that was in the news?
That was the Japanese occupation.
Yeah, but you heard about it through the news?
Huh?
How did you know? Through the news? Or people told you?
No, no, at that time, we were not in because we were to nursing school 43. We were still out. No school for the whole year.
Yeah, but how did you find out
That what?
that the American general was captured
The newspaper
in the newspaper? Oh.
with the pictures.
And what did they do in the concentration camps?
I don't know what they did in the concentration camp. Starved the Filipinos.
Yeah. And they killed them too?
Yeah.
But you were always in a safe place.
Yeah, our place was quite safe. In fact, during that occupation, Natal, we had parties. Everybody's party.
For what?
we're Filipinos. Just small gathering. We have parties. We have dancing.
But there are celebrations?
Just to occupy ourselves.
Okay. So it's like how people are having parties.
Huh?
It's like how people are having parties during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Here, now.
We
So
had
people are
parties.
occupying themselves.
We had parties during the Japanese time.
Mm.
I mean, we didn't try. I mean, our place, we didn't really suffer.
So you went to parties?
Yeah.
Mm.
And dancing.
Wow. But not dancing Japanese.
No. Filipinos.
Okay. But if you were in the hospital, then how did they teach you Japanese?
Yeah.
They taught it to you in the hospital?
It's called Nippon Byoin.
Yeah, but in the hospital? They taught you Japanese in the hospital?
No, and in school. The nursing school.
So some of the nursing school classes were Japanese classes?
No, yeah, they had a Japanese class.
Hmm,
Part of the curriculum was Japanese.
I see.
We had 7 Japanese doctors, 7 Japanese nurses.
Studying with you?
No.
Or teaching you?
Staff.
Staff.
Oh.
But they also were teaching or just staff members?
They were the staff members at the hospital.
And you had a... what?
Except the principal, the principal of the School of Nursing was a Japanese nurse. She was the one who taught us Japanese Nippongo.
Okay.
Yoshimoto Sensei.
You remember the name?
Yeah. No, not really.
You didn't enjoy it?
I wasn't interested.
But you were so good.
No. Kaite? Ni o kaite? Don't write like that.